Good evening and welcome to episode number 25 of the Roar Rundown Sports Podcast. I'm Chris Gade. This is Zach Cloud. Thank you for being here. So, this is the second to last episode of the Roar. You'd think after 25 episodes I can say it right. The Roar Rundown Sports Podcast. And just want to say thank you for everyone that's been tuning in every week to hear everything and anything about Ouachita sports. I know just got back, seems like last week pretty much. Well, it was 2 weeks ago was when we finally – I didn't upload 2 weeks ago that episode until last week, and then I uploaded the last week's episode the next day. So I was a little bit behind on a lot of stuff, just trying to catch back up. But also, this campus is going to get a little crazy. This is like my girlfriend said this is the calm before the storm because the week before finals is always hectic because you got people that are trying to study. You have teacher or professors that are suddenly going to bog you down with a bunch of assignments or test preps. But this is sort of a calm week, even though I know I have plenty of stuff to do. I know it gets worse.
Everything's about to start ramping up.
But, so I'm about to graduate, and you're about to be a senior. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Are you graduating in May?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So another full year.
Yep. So, all right. Well, of course, our time is almost up, and so are a lot of the athletes that played this last week. It was senior day for both women's and men's tennis and for baseball, and it will be softball senior day coming up on their upcoming series this weekend. So I don't know if they'll do – I guess they'll probably do the festivities on on Friday and then just play out the series. I don't really know how they do it for a series event, but I'll see because it will be my last broadcast here at Ouachita, so that will be fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, so get started with some women's tennis. So they would lose 1-6 at Henderson State on Monday. Allie Mae, she earned the lone OBU point in singles, but don't worry, they bounced back later on. On Tuesday, men's tennis, they had their senior day, and they would lose versus Harding 2-5, so it was definitely disappointing. But they did honor two seniors, Alex Blanchard and Fernando Doctors, who have been outstanding in their time here at Ouachita, specifically for Blanchard. Through the first 3 seasons he's been here at Ouachita, he is 40-17 in singles. He is a one-time MIAA honorable mention, 2-time MIAA/GAC honorable mention teamer in doubles. Tennis players get different awards if they qualify in singles and in doubles. He was last year, he was all MIAA GAC first teamer in singles. He was an ITA All-American last year. Finished last year number 17 in the country in Division II tennis in singles and number 1 in the Central Region. He was ranked number 2 in doubles last year. He was last year's team MVP, and he is a multiple-time ITA and GAC/MIAA all-academic teamer. So he definitely has quite the resume.
Oh, yeah.
But so does Doctors. Last year, actually not last year, but as a sophomore, he was all MIAA/GAC second teamer in doubles. He was all MIAA GAC second team in singles last season. He was an all GAC honorable mention in doubles last year, college sports communicators academic all-district team last year, a multiple-time MIAA GAC academic teamer, and was the ITA scholar athlete. So he definitely has a resume as well. But in this particular match, both Doctors and Blanchard would get wins on senior day. Blanchard and Doctors earned singles wins, and Doctors, along with Elias Lager, they would win in doubles. So at least even though they lost, at least the seniors came away with individual wins.
Oh, yeah. And talking about just Alex and Fernando specifically, like their leadership next year is going to be incredibly missed because not only their play on the tennis court, speaks volumes about them, but both these guys, being academic teamers and, all sorts of other awards they've got, their presence is going to be definitely missed next year, regarding the new young guys we've got coming in. So it's tough to lose a couple guys like that.
It always is, no matter the sport. And
I
know Strassman and Aaron Osman will be a couple guys, and just his name, Lager, will all be sort of relied upon. I think maybe all of them are juniors or sophomores, so we'll see how next year goes, which I think still there were high expectations this year. They've pretty much met them, so I imagine the expectations will be as high or if not higher next year. So like I said, well, for the women they would bounce back, but the men's tennis team, they would bounce back again. They beat Southeastern Oklahoma State 6-1 to clinch a share of the MIAA GAC division title on Thursday. So the duos of Phil Exner, Alex Blanchard, and Ramon Strassman and Aaron Osman earned doubles wins for Ouachita. Got a rowdy bunch out there.
Yeah.
And then Blanchard, Exner, Doctors, Buss, and Osman all won in singles. So track and field. So they were up in Jonesboro, Arkansas, competing in the Arkansas State Alumni Classic. And this was the final meet of the regular season for both the women and the men. So the women had 13 top 10 finishers. And Anna Woolsey, she broke a couple Ouachita records.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she talking about one of her first records she broke, the 100-meter dash. She came in second for the meet, and she ran a 12.10, and she ran it in 12.10 seconds. And then in the 200-meter dash, she ran in 24.92 seconds and finished fourth place. Her 200-meter time ranks in the top 10 of the GAC for the whole season. And she also finished in second place in the 400, which her time in the 400 was just 0.06 seconds out of first place. So just right behind her, just got edged out by a nose. But it was good to see how she was able to compete in this last meet for us. Ouachita also placed in the top 10 of the 1,500 meter. We had, I believe we had four girls in the top 10. We had Izzy Bro finish second for us. Caitlin notched it off. She finished third. Macy Cash was right behind her at fourth, and Elise Knight was at seventh. And the only other players we had ahead of us were runners for A-State. So it was
D1 runners.
Yeah, D1 schools. So Ouachita and A-State definitely took away the 1,500 meter. Emily Payne, she placed in fourth in the javelin throw for us. Rachel Dunn placed fifth in the triple dump, and J.C. McGregor finished seventh in the 800 meter. Ellie Holman finished eighth in the 800 meter. Addison Skelton placed eighth in the 100 meter hurdles, and Brindley Leonard placed 10th place in shot put. So also a whole plethora of top 10 finishes for us there. And now, following this meet, we will be preparing for the this year's GAC Track and Field Championships, which these will be held at SAU, and they will be through May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And then following right behind them, we've got OBU men's track and field. They also played really well this weekend. They just competed at the Arkansas State Alumni Classic, and we had 2 event winners and 8 top 10 finishers. Caden Callahan, he was able to take away the 400-meter hurdles. He placed first place, and he beat a runner from a D1 school, UTM, University of Tennessee Martin. And this was Callahan's 3rd win of the season in the 400 hurdles. So he definitely had a very successful season this year for us. Dylan Dew, he's been super solid for us all year, and he won the 800 meter, also beating out multiple D1 runners by a margin of 2 seconds. So that was like a very neck-and-neck finish. And his time for this event ranked atop the GAC leaderboards for the whole entire season. And then Xander Negley, he's a little – fun fact about him, he finished 4th place in the 800 meters this meet, but he's one of my good friends. He's been in a walking boot.
That, yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it is with his shin. I think it's shin splints though, but his right foot, he's been in a walking boot all like the past couple weeks, but he's just been having to take it easy and then like competing at events only. But, seeing walking around in a walking boot and then going to the event this weekend and finishing fourth in the 800, that's outstanding.
That is outstanding.
But and then also we had DeKevion Seals finished 5th place in the 400 meter. Gabriel Greenwich finished 6th place in the 1500. Russell Hensley placed 6th place in javelin. Josh Tibbs placed 9th in the 1500, and Keegan Pointer placed 10th in the 400 meter. So great job, guys. Guys and girls both played. They were outstanding.
Yeah, it was a great meet for everybody.
Oh,
it
yeah.
seems like. And I know something, and I assume this is okay to share, but Lawson Sanders was talking about. I have a class with Lawson Sanders, and he did a feature story on Dylan Dew and said that when Dew was in high school, Dew didn't even really want to run initially, but he was too small for most other sports. For football, I think that was maybe what his passion was before that, and so he decided to take up running, and he never could finish a race, I don't think, throughout high school. He'd always do so well, and then he'd just black out before the finish line, and
Really?
and he just pass out, and he couldn't finish. And I want to say it was either when he came to Ouachita, or because I think he's a freshman this year.
I believe he's either a freshman or a sophomore.
Yeah.
I know he's young.
Yeah. But it was either when he first came here, or like one of his last meets as a senior in high school, he finally finished, and it was like pretty groundbreaking for him, because he had never finished a race before. Like, not even like coming in last. He just said he'd never qualified because he always passed out. So
That's interesting.
I thought that was pretty cool. And now he's one of Ouachita's best runners, and one of the best runners in the conference. So, but going back to tennis, specifically with the women, like I said, they would bounce back, and they would win on Senior Day versus Fort Hays State, and this was last Saturday, 5-2. So the women's tennis team has not had the strongest year, but they have had a number of players that have stepped up all season long, and a lot of them were seniors, and they're going to be severely missed next year, especially when this is a program that's still, but before we came to Ouachita, this was not a very, it was just not a very good program.
They just established a culture.
Not really, but this has been probably the first group that's really helped us establish that. So, and one of the players that has definitely done that the most is Austin Crocker. She's been one of the best players the last few years for Ouachita. She's a two-time All-GAC second-teamer. She was team MVP as just a sophomore, and she was All-Ouachita. It was on the All-Ouachita athletic team. She was an ITA Scholar Athlete in 2021 as a freshman. She was All-GAC academic team as a sophomore. She earned, and on Senior Day, she did earn both a double and a singles victory in her last home game for Ouachita. Now, Shelly Davalos, so something interesting about her, she earned her first victory as a Tiger was when Ouachita won their first ever conference dual match since 2013, and that was when she was a freshman in 2020-2021. So, like I said, this was not a very good program for the most part. And I want to say that they might have even suspended their team for a bit. Not like suspended the players, but kind of like how cross-country, or the men didn't have a cross-country team for a number of years. I don't know about that, but at the very least, they hadn't done anything since 2013 for women's tennis. But now things are on the come up for Ouachita, and but Davalos has also been she was part of 4 doubles wins as a sophomore, and then she earned both a doubles and a singles victory on Senior Day. Olivia Gaston, she had 8 wins in her first 2 seasons in singles. She helped Ouachita by picking up a singles win as a freshman that was part of Ouachita's first conference win in 8 years. And I think that may have been a part of the same match that Davalos earned her first win. So, again, establishing a team, establishing a little bit of success, and she earned a doubles and a singles victory on Senior Day. Keelan Williams, she's 2-1 in singles She was as a sophomore, and then she earned a doubles victory on senior day, which is great because Williams really does not get to play very often. So she's not one of the first players that is in a singles match. So that's always great to see. And then Carla Gallart Polo, she was the last senior in this group. She was an ITA Scholar Athlete as a freshman, a GAC All-Academic Teamer as a sophomore, ITA All-Academic Teamer again that year, and then earned a doubles victory on senior day. So again, congratulations to those seniors, and of course, Ouachita would win this game 5-2. Natalia Zamora Capriolo earned a doubles win, and then Crocker and Calderova earned singles victories. So moving on to baseball. So as of literally just a few hours ago, Ouachita was able to come away with the sweep of Southern Nazarene on, I guess technically this was, if you want to be technical about it, this was senior day. It's the last home. Yeah, well, no, I'll take that back. They have a home game tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's a midweek game, but they really do the honoring for a conference. Well, it is. Well, tomorrow's a conference game too. Yeah. For the series, that's really where they put the emphasis. So, but again, it was a sweep. Game one, Ouachita was able to win 8-0, and then 6-2 in game two, and then they were able to win 6-5 today. But just looking at, they honored 8 seniors. So, and these are some incredible players. All of these 8, every once in a while, you'll get a senior class that you have maybe 3 quarters that are starters or major playmakers or something like that. And then you have a couple others that maybe didn't play or, maybe played as freshmen or maybe finally got a little bit of playing time as a senior. No, all of these players were either starters or some of the first guys out of the bullpen. And so going through the list, Cameron Marchant, he is one of, I think, 4 pitchers. And Dustin Bermudez is also considered an infielder because he's ridiculously good. But Marchant was part of the Ouachita President's List in fall of 2022, and in 3 seasons pitching for Ouachita, he compiled a 7-4 record. He pitched in 122 innings. He had recorded 5 saves, had a 5.61 ERA, and recorded 95 strikeouts in his career. So he's definitely left a mark in that pitching room.
Oh, yeah.
Because Weston has talked about it multiple times. This is a young pitching group. And like I said, 4 pitchers are graduating. So
that's a lot of experience.
That's a lot of experience that's leaving. So, but they still have a lot of really good players in that pitching room.
Oh, yeah.
And who better than Weston Bailey?
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Young guys coming up.
Exactly.
Putting them on the map.
Yeah, better. But Dustin Bermudez, like I said, he's a pitcher, but he's also an infielder. This guy does a little bit of everything for Ouachita. So first of all, he was the part of the GAC All Tournament team in 2022. He was GAC All Academic team. There we go. In 2022. The part of the ABCA All-Region Second Team in 23, the D2CCA All-Region Second Team last year, NCBWA All-Region Honorable Mention last year, All-GAC First Team in 2023, Natural State Baseball All-Arkansas Teamer in 23. He was the team MVP and part of the All-Ouachita team last year, and in 3 seasons, pitching compiled a 6-5 record. Pitched in 73 innings, had 15 saves, recorded a 3.82 ERA, recorded 90 strikeouts, and then batting, he recorded 564 at-bats, just over a 300 batting average, recorded 132 runs, 178 hits, 41 doubles, 32 home runs, and 129 RBIs. And I think he's one of just 2 Ouachita players to hit the 30 home run number in their career. And the next player is who I'm about to mention. And you'd have to ask Chase Hartzell about that. He's been posting about all the baseball records that have been being broken or being set this year. But G. Allen is the other guy. Now, he's interesting because he started out at TCU and was one of the best players in the country, but COVID kind of hurt his season, and he didn't play at TCU, so he transfers to Ouachita, the Star, right away. So he's a GAC honorable mention in 2022, two-time Natural State All-Arkansas teamer, D2 CCA All-American honorable mention last year, CSC Academic All-American first teamer last year, the NCBWA All-Region First Team last year, D2CCA All-Region First Team last year, ABCA All-Region First Team last year, All-GAC First Teamer last year, All-Ouachita Academic Teamer last year, Male Scholar of the Year for Ouachita last year, CSC Academic All-District Team last year, and GAC Distinguished Scholar Athlete in 2023, and in 3 seasons went up to bat 579 times, recorded a .344 batting average, recorded 151 runs, just under 200 hits, 199 hits, and 41 doubles, 8 triples, 36 home runs, 128 RBIs, and almost a perfect fielding percentage, 97.6. And he may have added to some of those totals after today's game. I'm not sure, but those are some ridiculous numbers.
Basically, like, especially when it comes to G. Allen and Dustin Bermudez, like, what did these two guys not do for us?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they loaded up the stat sheet and academic sheet in every single category possible.
Yeah. So, and I think 36 home runs is the best. I think that's the career number for Ouachita, the most home runs in a career by a Tiger, and season's not even over really. There's a couple more games left, and it would include what you do in the conference tournament, which of course Ouachita punched a ticket for, so that's always great as well. But Cooper Timmons, another pitcher. I'm not even going to read all of the awards that he's gotten, but he has a bunch of all conference awards. But last year, NCBWA All Region Honorable Mention. He was first team GAC last year, All GAC Defensive Team last year, NCBWA Regional and National Pitcher of the Year after a 7-0 shutout, or excuse me, not of the year, of the week after a 7-0 shutout win over Harding in the first round of last year's GAC tournament, and in 5 seasons has compiled a 26-15 record, has pitched in 325 innings, recorded a 4.34 ERA, has 3 saves, and has had 334 strikeouts, but he has more strikeouts than he has hits allowed. I don't know how common that is in baseball, but I've never really seen it.
Yeah, that's hard to see. That's definitely.
Now, the hits and strikeouts, it's only the difference is maybe 3 strikeouts, but still that's an incredible number.
That's crazy. So
Talon Heine also being honored. He's an outfielder, multiple-time conference academic, been a part of the president's list with CSC Academic All-District Team last year, GAC Distinguished Scholar Athlete in 2023, and in 3 seasons he's been up to bat 424 times, has just over a 300 batting average, has recorded 100 runs, 131 hits, 28 doubles, 5 triples, 7 home runs, and 76 RBIs.
And then I guess we've still got a few guys after these, but if you want me to give you a break, I can talk about. We've got Hayden Childers, Cade Burris, and Michael Quinones, all these guys coming up. Hayden Childers, he's been a pitcher for us, and he was named in the fall of 2021 OBU's President's List. He was a GAC All-Academic Team member in 2023, and in 3 seasons he pitched for us. He got a 9-1 record. He pitched in 80 innings. He had 2 saves, a 5.15 ERA, and recorded 52 strikeouts. And he also recorded 3 runs, 4 hits, and RBI, and had 100 putouts in 2021. Cade Burris, being a catcher for us, he was a 2-time GAC All-Academic Teamer, and he made the Dean's List multiple times also. In 5 seasons at OBU, he had 566 at-bats. He had a 263 batting average, 118 runs, 149 hits, 27 doubles, 3 triples, 21 home runs, 101 RBIs, and he also had a 98.3 fielding percentage as well. And then after him, we've got Michael Quinones. He was a catcher and infielder for us. He was all GAC second team last year, Natural State baseball team last year member, a Dugan Collegiate Baseball Invitational all-tournament team last year. And in 2 seasons for us, he had 347 at-bats. He started every game he played for us. In 90 games, he started every single one of them. And he had a 349 batting average, and he recorded 67 runs, 121 hits, 28 doubles, 23 home runs, 86 RBIs, and he had a 99% fielding percentage. So, these guys, they were incredible for us.
Yeah, and like I said, they were able to get the win today, season sweep.
Yeah.
But it was in a 6-5 win. Just looking at a lot of the seniors they showed out today. Michael Quinones, he had a run, 3 hits, and RBI. G. Allen, 2 runs, a hit, and a walk. Cade Burris, 1 run, 1 hit, 1 RBI, 2 walks. Talon Heine, a run, a hit, an RBI, and a walk. Dustin Bermudez, a run and a hit. Joseph Bolin, 1 hit, 1 RBI. Wesley Scott, 1 hit, 1 RBI. And Tag Payco earned his 3rd win of the season pitching for Ouachita. And actually, Dustin Bermudez recorded the 4th save of the season. And I'll go ahead and mention softball. Like I said, Senior Day is not here yet for softball. That will be this coming weekend. But they would play maybe their last road conference series. I'm not 100% sure about that. But they would lose all 3 games to Southern Nazarene in Bethany, Oklahoma on both Sunday and today. The rain has really made a lot of scheduling issues. But they would lose 5-2 or 5-7 today, and would lose 0-13 and 2-6 on Sunday. So definitely a much better effort by Ouachita today. And but just looking at the numbers, Remington Adams recorded 1 run, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Lauren Lester recorded a run and a hit. Bailey King, 2 runs, 1 hit. Caitlin Province, 1 run, 1 RBI, 1 stolen base. Jordan Merritt, 1 hit, 1 RBI. Marley Huddleston, 1 hit, and Carly Burrow, 1 hit. And if you know any of those players, you'll know that almost all of them are sophomores or freshmen, mostly freshmen. So that is a young group for sure. So Senior Day they won't be honoring a whole lot of players. I know Lauren Lester, Aaron Williams are just 2 that I can name off the top of my head. I know Hannah Hunter and maybe Maggie Huddleston, I think, is also a senior. So they have a few seniors, mostly in that pitching room. So they have a lot of well, not a lot, not compared to baseball with 8, but still they'll have a lot of experience that's going. But they have a lot of youth in that team. So, but looking at the week ahead for the Tiger Prowl preview. So Ouachita baseball, they will host Harding in the final home midweek game of the season on Tuesday at 3 p.m. And I guess this is truly the final home game. And, of course, by the time this is released, that game will already have happened. So I'll go ahead and I will post the score above me. Now, Ouachita softball, they will travel to Pine Bluff to play Arkansas Pine Bluff on Wednesday at 1 and 3 p.m. And this one was interesting to me. Ouachita men's tennis will travel to Tyler, Texas to play Tyler Junior College on Thursday at 1:30 p.m. You don't see a Division II program playing a junior college this late in the year. Every once in a while you'll see maybe the basketball teams play a JUCO, but you don't. Like, I know men have played Arkansas Baptist in the past, but I think they may have already made the switch to NAIA. So I don't know. It's interesting. Women's tennis, they will compete I assume they will be competing in the GAC Championship Tournament Yes, they will, because they will be playing Henderson State in the first round, and this will all be in Bentonville, Arkansas at 2 p.m. Hopefully they can advance from there. Ouachita softball, like I said, they will be hosting Northwestern Oklahoma State for their final home series of the season from Friday through Saturday. It will be at 4 p.m. on Friday and 4 and 6 on Friday, and then noon on Saturday. So noon on Saturday, the last chance you will ever get to see Ouachita, this group here at home, and last chance to hear me commentate for Ouachita sports.
Let's
so
get everybody to come out and support.
Exactly, come out and support, or just tune into the broadcast. That works in my favor too. And then baseball, they will play at Henderson on Friday and Saturday, so it's not a home game per se, but they'll still be in town, and that will be at 6 p.m. on Friday, 1 and 4 on Saturday. So that is going to be it for all of the notes we have going on. But, of course, as you probably all know, that Zach and I we're Arkansans, and yes, we do go to Ouachita, but we're also Arkansas Razorback fans. So Carter Knox just committed to the Razorbacks, so
yes,
that's going to be great. And again, I always forget this, and for those that are not super involved in keeping up with Ouachita sports and maybe rely on this podcast, do not know that the women's basketball coach at Ouachita is no longer Robert Dallimore. So I think it was right before spring break. I know I've been withholding this information for so long. Dallimore announced that he was stepping down as the head women's basketball coach. And just what his statement said was he was going to explore other opportunities. And that's just what it is. That's all that we know. So, but Coach Dallimore definitely made an impact. First of all, he's a great recruiter because he brought in players like Lainey Mears. I think he may have even brought in Michaela Miller when she was here. And then this whole now going to be a junior class of Madeline Tipton, Audrey Winfrey, Joey Babel, Samantha Watson, great group.
Those are some of his guys.
Yeah. And then, and I know, so there's already been a new hire for that position, and it is Kylie Hill. So Kylie Hill, he's interesting because he actually has a pretty storied college coaching career. So first of all, he's from Arkansas. He's originally from Lake Hamilton, and his wife is from Russellville. So really, they're at home.
Yeah, not far.
No, I mean, Kylie's definitely not far from home, and Russellville
just a couple hours away.
Yeah, it's just a couple hours away, still on the west side of the state. But Kylie was a great coach at Valdosta State, which is a Division II program. He took them to the Sweet 16 of the Division II women's basketball tournament, the NCAA tournament for Division II women's multiple times. And I want to say he had like 8 just tournament appearances in general. And after Valdosta State, he decided to, I think it was because maybe family reasons, he decided to take an associate coaching job at Southern Miss. And I think that was also the women's program. And then after Southern Miss, he went to West Alabama, which is also a Division II program. Southern Miss is D1. And then after West Alabama, some success there, he decided to go to Western Carolina. Now, he did not, as the head coach, he did not have a lot of success, only 33 wins in, I think, 5 seasons. But regardless, he still has a lot of coaching experience at both the Division II and the Division I level. And he has a lot of success, which is also interesting because he wasn't even a basketball guy when he first got into coaching. He was football, and then kind of eventually made the transition to, I think he played football. And then after his playing days were over, he went into women's basketball. That has no relationship whatsoever.
Yeah.
But he found success right away. So I know everybody's really happy to have him. And I got to meet him last week, and if everything goes right, I'll have a sports package, which I will include in either this week's episode or next week's episode, and it will be about Coach Hill and him coming to Ouachita, and then hopefully maybe get a word from Coach Sharp, because he was the one that hired him. So, and maybe a word from a player or two of his new players. But yeah, he said he's already reached out to the players that had already signed to Ouachita, which, knowing now in Division I coaching, typically if a new coach is brought in and you're committed to the old coach, you're not sticking around to find out.
Sometimes you have players just follow you wherever you go. Or, if a certain coach recruited you and that coach is no longer with the program, then it's not uncommon to see those players that coach recruited kind of jump ship to a different program.
Exactly. I mean, for the Razorbacks, that definitely happened. They're two really good recruits, decommitted.
Yeah. But we brought in the coach from Kentucky, and next thing we know, we've got a couple guys from Kentucky.
Yep. So it'll continue to build, and I think every school has had that happen this year. You lose a coach, you lose all of your commits. So that's just the nature of the game. But seeing that Coach Hill at least has already contacted them, maybe trying to keep them here, and also he had told me, told all of us when I met him, that he was doing an interview for OSDN, and he said that just a couple hours he was going to drive to Farmington to go to like a AAU tournament or something like that. And
that's a drive.
It is a drive just to probably see one recruit. That's pretty good. I mean, that's recruiting right there. And as far as I know, and I hope that's information that I can talk about. I know that Division I and Division II recruiting are a little different, but who knows? Someone from an opposing school could be watching this and could be like, "Oh, Coach Hill's after this prospect in Farmington. Interesting."
Yeah.
Probably not. But anyway, but I know he also, I think, had, even though Western Carolina didn't have a lot of success, what I've seen on social media, he had a lot of love from a lot of parents and other people that were associated with the Western Carolina program. So that's always great to see. Even though they did not have a lot of success, he still had a lot of support behind him. And I imagine the dude's nice. Yeah. A really nice guy.
He seems like he's very for the players, which is good to see.
He is.
Somebody that's going to dedicate to not just the program or the school, but like the individual players you've got on your roster and forming a relationship with those people. So,
and it always helps having the natural state connection away. So especially since he's just 30, 45 minutes away from home, frankly. So, but that is going to do it for the second to last episode of the Roar Rundown Sports Podcast. This is Chris. This is Zach. Thank you so much for tuning in every single week to this podcast. Again, thank you. Have a good evening, and go Tigers.